You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
And good evening.
Hi, today is the 12th of January, 2015. 2015.
I know. This is
That's Boone.
this is Boondog.
He's rude and should not be jumping up.
Right, but as long as he's in here, he's not out there pooping.
Right. For any of you that are dog experts, how do you get him out of the habit of pooping in here?
He's got his Monday night.
His Monday activity. Hello, I love you. Hello. He's upset because Ganood's not here.
Right.
And Marley's not here.
Marley.
Oh, and he'll show us
at my parents where there's this hallway. Like when we chill at my parents' house, we always chill everywhere in the house but this one hallway. So she thinks that's her territory to go poop. So every time, like even this last time, because we go up there to watch the Broncos. Sad face.
Yeah.
But every time we go up there, she just leaves a little present for me. Like, even this time, I thought she was good, and I was driving down there, and my dad called me, and she's like, "You know your dog pooped in the hallway?" I was like, "Why did you put a dark hallway to nowhere there?"
Right? Do your parents get upset when...
No.
No.
They do, but then they see her face.
And they can't help themselves. I know. That's the sad thing. The kids are the same way. It's like, God, you're such a jerk, but so adorable at the same time. So... Let's forget about that whole jerk part. Yeah, it's, I just can't believe that it is the 12th of January already. My gosh.
It seems like just last year, me, Paul, and Derek were celebrating our triumphant first day legal cannabis sales in the United States, in our lifetime at least.
What time? You guys purchased at night.
It was around 9 o'clock. We had found a dispensary that was open till midnight. Over in Edgewater, they don't have to close anything till midnight, so we went to... Excuse me.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
You went to a place in Edgewater is where you were.
I can't remember what it was called, but...
I can't either.
Like, it's almost right. It doesn't matter. It was $65 eighth.
Oh, my gosh.
So I don't tell people to go there. It's not like, oh, you should go check out blah, 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 because... You'll pay $9,000 for an ounce. Go check it out. You know.
Excuse me, not anymore. I think prices have started to mellow out some.
Did you see 60 Minutes last night?
I saw some of it.
Like, that was a pretty interesting. I mean, he kept calling it pot. He was very specific. It's not weed. It's not marijuana. It's not cannabis. It's pot.
Why?
I don't know, but that's just, and he said it with. The main guy that was doing the story kind of had a little, I don't want to say scorn in his voice.
Was it emphasis on pot?
Well, yeah, it's like we're out in Denver, Colorado, and they're smoking their pot. And it was just like, it wasn't quite that heavy, but you could tell when you heard the word pot.
On the P&T.
Right, like that was a strong word, whatever sentence he used it in. And it's like, all right, man, like you could just say the flowers, the plants. You don't have to sound like such a dick.
Right? Is pot derogatory?
Not really.
I'd rather pot than dope.
Dope.
Oh my God. Well, I don't think of cannabis as dope. I think when you're talking about dope, you're talking about like heroin or whatever.
Or meth or heroin, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like those are dope.
That's dope. Yeah.
But it used to be.
I know.
They used to call marijuana dope, and it's a bunch of dope heads.
There's a new magazine coming to Colorado called Dope, and you know what I think about that? They're probably really nice people, the people that own this magazine or whatever. Why on earth would you call because all the good names were taken? You had to call it Dope.
Right, that's just stupid. If nowadays you say something's dope, you're like, oh, that's dope.
I think of snowboarding or something, though. Maybe this is just me and my friends, but if you did a cool trick, you'd be like, "Oh, that was dope!"
Right.
So there's different connotations.
And I get that, but this is a weed magazine, and so.
Well, but it's like dank. Like, look up the word dank. It doesn't mean what we want it to mean. We've changed it.
But exactly. But you're right.
Dingy and
right.
blah.
That's what, but we use the word differently. The word has two meanings. Dank is. What a smart magazine name. Dank.
much smarter than I would rather pick up a copy, especially because they're going to be in the same section, really close to each other if they're alphabetized.
Right.
I would pick up a copy of Dank long before I picked up a copy of Dope.
What about Chronic?
That's not bad.
Good name, bad name.
Yeah, it's still good, I think.
Not my favorite magazine by any stretch.
No.
But I think it's a good name.
But the name is nice,
It's a
you know,
good
because
name.
it
It's not
reminds me
very
of back in the.
creative, but
Well, no, but back in the old days, you know, you bought Chronic or you bought Swag.
Right.
So it's like you heard you just saw me wipe all the dog hair off, didn't you? But when you heard Chronic, your buddy's got some Chronic. You're like, oh yeah.
he can't get through. He's going to break the studio. What happened to the studio? Boone was here. It broke it. He doesn't even want me.
So that's a good word.
How about the hemp connoisseur? Good name, bad name.
Oh,
I always forget how to spell connoisseur.
I
yeah, I
can't spell
hate
connoisseur
that
either.
word. I like the word. I hate trying to
Even
spell
my
it.
dad, who's an English major, gets stumbled on it.
I
Yeah.
can't. And you know what? It doesn't come up easily in spell check.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
But good name for a magazine.
well, it's a good name for a magazine.
Like Cigar Aficionado.
But it's
Can't spell
Like-
aficionado either.
but it's not the cannabis connoisseur. I mean, I know that hemp it's all kind of it's all pretty much in the same family. I mean, it is, but it's, you know, I don't think, oh, I'm going to go home and smoke a big fat bowl of hemp, you know?
Well, I hope you won't, because
Right. So it's like
George Washington did.
when you're the hemp connoisseur, what are you connoisseuring?
Well, I mean,
So like the pairing of all the words together, it's like, well,
But do you know why
what's
they did that?
Well, because it fits in the THC mold. But still, what? So when you, so I hope that they don't listen to this and think, oh, that guy's kind of a dick. But what, you know, like if you're a connoisseur of fine cigars, or you're a connoisseur of fine wines, or you're a connoisseur of hemp, you know, I mean, like I get that, but in this industry,
See, I
like Jason Love is like a hemp connoisseur
Right.
kind of guy, because he's in the hemp industry. They're trying to make it as awesome as possible. That is what that is.
right.
The Hemp Connoisseur magazine, like they're using that title, but then they're all about cannabis, like just the good stuff. I mean, it's hard to
The
separate
smokable.
it, but it's not.
I think the idea in my mind, and this is just a guess, was to make it broader than just about smoking cannabis, but about all things hemp. Because they did. I mean, remember they did that wonderful article probably at least a year ago about the biofuels and you know those. So I think the idea was to make it broader than just like a High Times kind of focus.
All right. It's just the pairing of all those words, I think, is
TH mother F and C.
right. That fits, but that's just a general response for.
How do you spell connoisseur?
CONNOISSEUR.
Ugh, I think
Okay,
I
no.
hate her. I'm sure that's right.
Right. Where'd you see that at?
No, she just did it. I saw her think it through, picture it, and say it. She's amazing. She got it. Yep. Yep, she got it. She's good. This is my favorite cover, by the way. Can I see that for a second, Gabe? I loved this cover.
I'll see my favorite still, the Jenny one.
I loved the Jenny one too, but they didn't design the Jenny one.
No.
You know, that was but I thought this was really great. But yeah, I think it's so interesting that that cannabis is so, we talk about this all the time, is so mainstream that all of this media is trying to find their way in. I mean, there's 8,000 internet radio stations. There's a new one every single day that is born and then dies and is born and then dies. And
We get new likes every day.
yeah,
Just
we
from
get, yeah.
people
Oh, we've been
looking up
around for-
cannabis on their search timeline.
Yeah.
This is
Probably
what, like
on
our fourth year
Facebook.
in existence? Because it's been
In
like
August.
a year and a half since the accident, and we're at least 2 years in.
Right. In this location, we've been in this location 2 years, 2.5 years in this location. And then we were a year in our prior location. So,
So we're in the fourth year.
yeah.
About 3.5 years in. Okay, cool.
This is my 5th year doing a radio show
Nice.
every Monday night.
Dang.
Dang. Now I'm like old at it.
Right.
Right. But I wanted to talk after we take a break. I want to talk about this article that I read today on the MSN.com homepage. You know how they always have the little news snippets or whatever.
Right.
And there was this really interesting article on a vape pen, and the article was a good article, and we'll read it. But it was as though no one had ever heard of a vape pen before. What is that?
A vape pen?
And what's in that?
Nicotine.
And how long have those things been around?
Years.
Like how many? Like 2 years? Like 20 years? Like 5 years?
About 5.
No, probably 10 at least.
But most popular.
They've been popular, getting real big over the last couple of years, but
The last couple of years is the first time that I've seen standalone stores, like where you get your stuff, that sell nothing but the pens and the oil cartridges or whatever you call that, nicotine cartridges.
just fluid.
Fluid cartridges. Fluid.
Right.
And the fluid. Is that now? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
And the fluid.
And the fluid.
And you can get a punch card, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so but that's probably because it costs them $1, $2, $3 at most to make a bottle that they sell for $15. So, yeah.
Could you get grape?
Yes.
Would you get grape?
Yeah, I used to get it when I could afford it. I'd mix grape with my menthol, so it was a nice minty kind of grape flavor. It tasted delicious.
That sounds
Like eating
disgusting.
frozen grapes. Those are delicious.
Frozen grapes are delicious, but you add menthol to it, and that's an entirely different kind of issues.
Right, but it doesn't taste like it's hard to explain. Tastes good though.
I had a friend in college who didn't like the way cigarettes taste because they taste gross. So she would chew gum while smoking a cigarette so that she wouldn't taste the taste.
See, and I would always spit out gum because it would make the gum taste disgusting.
Disgusting. Right.
Yeah.
Right, because cigarettes are, let's all say it, disgusting. Yes. So let's take a quick break, or maybe not even a quick break, and then can we talk about this vape thing?
Yes.
This brand new little vape thing.
Yes.
All right, so it's Happy Mondays. We'll be right back.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to Cannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
And we're back.
Welcome
front
back.
And side to side.
So I feel like mainstream media wants so desperately to write about anything marijuana, and it's super sexy right now.
It's like it was here when it first got legalized.
That's right.
On like Fox 31 and stuff like that. Like anything even related, like even
Tangentially related, and it's super
they
sexy.
fixate on it.
Yeah, and because people in Iowa aren't really familiar about what's going on. I mean, some of the fact checking I think lacks in some of these articles, but I'm gonna bring out this article that I read today on MSN.com, and it starts off with a guy using a vape pen. Is he pooping? Is my dog pooping?
He's probably gonna. He's doing the sniffing around. Would you go out and help prevent that?
Thanks, Sarah. It says at a recent Seahawks football game in Seattle, this is obviously a Washington article, this dude took a drag on a slim vapor pen that looked like a jet black Marlboro. The tip glowed red as he inhaled. but the pen contained no nicotine. Instead, it held 250 milligrams of cannabis oil loaded with THC,
Oh my God!
the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana.
Did he poop? No.
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
He's gonna poop.
Nobody noticed, said Mr. Sadist, who owns several marijuana dispensaries in Washington state.
His name is Sadist?
Sadist, S-A-D-I-S.
Oh, okay. So you said sadist.
No.
I'm sure that's what he was called.
Right, I'm sure that you aren't the first person to connect that.
Right.
You pull it out of your pocket, take a hit like a cigarette, put it back, you're done. It's so discreet. This device, called a juju joint.
A what?
J-U-J-U joint.
Okay.
Heralds a union that seems all but inevitable. Marijuana and the e-cigarette together at last in an e-joint.
At last, finally.
Finally, yesterday.
I've been waiting my whole life, or a couple of years.
For years, people have been stuffing marijuana in various forms into portable vaporizers and into cartridges of e-cigarettes. But the Juju joint is disposable, requires no charging of batteries or loading of cartridges, and comes filled with 150 hits.
And by the way, most of those disposable marijuana vapes aren't very good.
No, they come with terrible oil. So this says 250 milligrams of cannabis oil.
Isn't that Zoe Deschanel? Is that one that she was using?
Is that called a Juju?
Yeah, Juju joints are
Yes.
discreet, disposable, and mild.
Yes.
And they're changing the way people consume marijuana.
As though this was the
Well,
first.
wasn't Sarah
Right, as though
Silverman,
this was the first one to
as
come
though
up
this was
with
the-
it.
Oh, just wait. Oh, I have some facts. Look at my I have some facts.
Wasn't
But-
Sarah Silverman on the red carpet with like
A vape pen?
She
and
did it
like,
too.
this is my weed.
Yeah.
Look, this is my weed. I remember something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so guess how long the Juju joint has been around?
2 years.
No.
6 months.
No, but closer. April. How long ago was that? 7 months.
7 or 8.
7 months. Yeah.
Well, ish.
Yeah. 7 months. And 75,000 Juju joints have been sold in Washington state. The maker says that 500,000 will be sold this year, and there are plans to expand into Colorado and Oregon. The guy says, I wanted to eliminate every hassle that has to do with smoking marijuana. The inventor and co-founder of Juju Joints said, I want it to be discreet and easy for people to handle. There's no odor, matches, or mess. First of all, that's not true.
There's an odor.
There's an odor.
Right. It's nothing like if I was smoking a bowl in this room and you were puffing on the
Juju joints.
Juju joint or any of the vape pens in another room, and you were to go into both rooms, you wouldn't go into one and go, oh, fresh air.
Right.
I mean, unless you're a pothead, whatever.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
Right.
So-
There is. I mean, even when you vaporize, it certainly dissipates really quickly.
Right. And the smell is like a 2, where like a cigarette or a weed
joint.
pipe or joint, would be,
I think a joint is a 10 in terms of stink.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we're on a 1 to 10 scale, they're both 10s.
Yeah.
As far as their strong, pungent aromas.
Yeah.
They're not soft. Not like
Exactly.
laundry where it's nice and soft. You're like, oh.
Yeah, that's
know.
right. So, I mean, it just goes on to talk about how smart they were to put this together. But they say that each Juju joint contains 100 milligrams of THC in 250 milligrams of oil, of which they say that's 150 hits.
Well, but how are they giving a price? Because
No.
100 milligrams of oil in an edible form is sold from $10 to $20 price range. So if you buy a candy bar, it could be
For medical patients.
right. It could be $15 for that 100 milligram candy bar. It could be $20. It depends on what it is or where it's at.
Yeah.
But that's 1/10 of a gram. So at $10 for 100 milligrams, that's still $100 for a gram of marijuana or a gram of hash oil.
Right.
So I have to put that out there.
So it says each Juju joint contains 100 milligrams of THC, twice as much as a traditional joint. What?
Well, because, you roll up a big fat joint that has, X amount of THC in it. You're smoking all this flower, whatever. But if you have a tank full of
I
concentrated
don't know how they say
marijuana-
a traditional joint has 50 milligrams of THC in it.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting those
I don't
numbers.
either.
That's just bullshit.
Okay. So moving on, they talk a little bit about vaping as a delivery method. That's great, whatever. Okay, so it says local retailers report that juju joints are catching on, especially with women and consumers in their 40s to 60s. You wouldn't believe the demographic this has opened up. Well, duh. You know, the older that you are, the less likely you are to be around when you're passing a joint. And
Right.
I mean, okay, so here we go. Juju joints for recreational use cost between $65 to $100.
Okay, well, how much are the refill cartridges?
They're not. Each one is sold. Like you don't keep the pen, so it's
my God.
sold like
They're making fat stacks of cash. Oh my God.
fat.
I don't even know what to say. I just want to.
Yeah.
Oh.
Law enforcement agencies are concerned that discreet vapor pens filled with cannabis oil are already being abused by teenagers.
So
I don't know how
for the
that's-
last year, I when I vape, when I drive, like I don't. If I see a cop, I don't hit my nicotine because everybody always, is that marijuana?
Well, yeah, we actually there was a inspector from the Med who was watching the show, and he said to me that you smoke a lot. You smoke a lot of weed, and I was like, no, he's smoking nicotine. Because you do.
Oh, tons. But
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, I'm just taking in the fact that somebody from the MED watched the show to see what was whatever. And
They learned some stuff, they said.
it's a lot to take in. Because that's the thing when we do these shows, we don't know who's listening or who's going to listen or when or what. So
Yeah.
if you're listening, we totally appreciate you listening, unless you're doing it for some nefarious reason. Then, hey, cool, too.
I still
whatever.
listen. Yeah, I'm still good with that.
Right. But hey,
Okay.
we like free hugs. So come on down.
I don't know that I want a hug from you. I mean, I do from you, but not necessarily from you.
Right. We don't know who you are.
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
Once we introduce ourselves and get to know you a little bit, then we'll take some hugs.
Right.
Okay, the underlying reason people buy it is because of its design and because you can smoke it in public, says Lindsay Middleton, 21, a bud tender at Green Lady Marijuana, a recreational store in Olympia. Though smoking marijuana in public is illegal, consumers use juju joints while skiing, hiking, and going to concerts.
So people are paying, you said $60 to $100,
$65
right?
to $100 each.
So at the high end, you would be paying for $100 for 100 milligrams of cannabis, THC of however it's breaking down, and but we know it's not.
I know.
Anyways, but the point of that is $1,000 to get 1,000 milligrams. You're paying $1 a milligram for that. I mean, imagine if you're doing that with nicotine. Holy shit. Nobody would smoke these anymore.
That's right. Well, it goes on to talk about how teenagers are using marijuana and these kinds of things, which is interesting because this is the kind of product that you can only purchase. There aren't black market juju joints.
Correct.
People aren't black marketing. I mean, they might be black marketing some concentrates, but they're not black marketing oil cartridges to go in your pens. They're not doing that.
Not likely. I mean, if so, maybe 0.01%.
It's a tiny percentage.
Maybe.
That's not what teenagers are getting their hands on. I mean, I just think that that's a weird thing to put in this article.
Right.
I mean, certainly we know that there is definitely more.
And what teenager has $100 to spend on something like that?
They can't buy this because they're not 21.
Well,
So-
right, but
so they're
where are they getting it? You're right, yeah. Who's going to
not.
the store? Would you go to the store for me and buy me one of those pens?
Right.
Here's $150.
right. Exactly.
Fuck, who's going to do that?
No.
You're going to buy a bag of weed.
Right.
Like they've been doing for generations.
Or even or even edibles that can get them.
Just as high. I mean, it's not going to last
Faster.
nearly as long,
Right.
but how long
Right.
are you going to have to hit that? Until
Right.
you get high or until you get a reasonable level of medication. How much is it going to cost you? I had to hit that thing for $30 to get high. I only get to do that 2 more times.
Right. Well, I think from a sales standpoint that these kinds of things are really popular for tourists who are coming into town. You can't really smoke in hotels, and so vaping kind of gets around some of the Clean Air Act. It doesn't make your hotel room smelly, and then you can just throw it away. You don't have to know how to pack a bowl. You don't have to know how to roll a joint. you can share it, and so those things are popular. But this article makes this sound like in April,
like it's an epidemic.
Well, no. Like this is the first company that's ever thought about this. I mean, I did a Google search on vape pens. I just put vape pen in. I got 47 pages of products on the shopping tab of Google. 47 pages of products. I typed it into Amazon. Almost 4,000 results.
Dang.
And I don't know.
Thank you, Juju Joints, for
Right.
pioneering this for us.
Exactly.
You amazing folk.
So this is, I mean, again, this is where media thinks that they know kind of all that's going on in the marijuana world. And maybe Juju, because Zooey Deschanel had it, maybe that's what brought them to the forefront. But they're not the first. They're not the only. And I certainly don't think that they're responsible for teenagers using weed. Teenagers have been using weed forever.
A lot longer than e-cigs have been around. So,
And certainly, certainly they're not buying it at stores. They're not buying weed from licensed
a retail
stores.
store.
Right.
Because people just aren't that stupid.
Right.
I mean, it hasn't been around long enough for people to get all like brave. I mean, people are doing stupid shit, whether they're just growing to specifically sell out of state or whatever. Most places that I've ever been into are really, every place I've ever been into, not most places, every single place I've ever been into has been way on top of it. Even if I know the people.
Right. They still card
I've
you.
been there, 15 times.
Right.
And they're like, we need to see your stuff. And I'm like, really, Jim?
Right.
Yes, really. And it's like, fuck, all right, goddamn, here. It's a bit of a hassle, but when it still happens.
Right.
So
That's right. It's interesting. Go check out your Juju joint. We're going to take a little breaky break, and we're going to come back, and Jeremy's got some.
I'm just as bad.
I know. Jeremy's got some
Other news.
info
that
to
we
share.
found.
All right.
So we'll be right back.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
And we're back.
And we're back. It's almost like we didn't leave.
Right? Which we really didn't.
I mean, we sat here.
We sat here. The microphone left. Sorry, I just want to look at this. It looks all nifty.
Isn't that so cool? It can go underwater.
It's life proof.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, you could take this underwater and take pictures and stuff? Nice. What kind of phone is this?
It's a Samsung Galaxy, whatever. What's that?
S5.
S5, thank you.
Nice. Mine too. Although
Isn't
my
that fun?
case is not
Ooh, that's
It's
a pretty
waterproof.
snazzy case.
OtterBox.
Oh, it does the same thing. It just can't go underwater.
Right. Although these things are made to be waterproof. Wow.
Wow.
The S5s. Or at least semi-water resistant.
That's good.
But whatever. no need to really press that issue and ever do that. But I think it's more for like if you're doing something stupid and you drop it in the toilet.
Have you ever done that?
When I was younger, I was having a bathroom break at work, and I was trying to pack a bowl, and I dropped it, and it went through my legs, and like the paper towel that had all the weed on it, as I was breaking it up, it went through the paper towel, brought the paper towel, the weed, and the pipe into the toilet. So I thought, okay, well, this should be easy. It's a heavy pipe. I'll flush the toilet. The water will go. I'll stick my hand in. I'll grab it. I flushed the toilet. Everything went down. Gone. It's like, are you fucking kidding? Like
Well,
my
what did you think
pipe
was
is
gonna
stuck
happen?
in the pipes. I thought it was heavy enough that it would sit there. I mean, nowadays you flush a toilet and your poop doesn't even go half the time. Not your poop, but...
Yeah, my poop usually goes.
Well, it depends on what kind of toilet you have. These low-pressure toilets, sometimes you got to do the double flush, or it's the weak half flush. So even when you pee, you flush, and then it's all still half there when it's done. It's like, what's the point of these dumbass things? You waste more water because whatever. Anyways. So on different, well, it depends on what news we want to get into, because there's serious things, there's not serious things. So we should start with a couple of, or at least one non-serious thing first, because, So we're going to go with 12 very interesting facts about farts. Right, because we're already just talking about pooping. We might as well just cross this threshold. So the word fart was coined in 1632, defined as to send forth as wind from the anus.
Why do I automatically think that this is not true?
It may or may not be, like take any of this shit because it's found on the internet. Take it all with a grain of salt.
That's right. It's on the internet.
Take it all with a grain of salt. But it does say, even in the Dark Ages, farts were used as a way to lighten the mood, coming from the Old English word fjorten, meaning to break wind. The term was often used in famous epic poems from Geoffrey Chaucer and William Shakespeare. Chaucer? Oh, fuck.
It's all right.
Variants include the Old Norse fretta.
Beowulf. Never mind.
I haven't seen that movie, I'm sorry. And the Old High German Furzon. Number 2 says farts can reach speeds of 10 feet per second.
Really? How do they know that?
Well, it says depending on the size of your chili burger and the force behind your sphincter, one can eject quite the speedy toot. Humans can send gassers up to 7 miles per hour, according to Muscle and Fitness magazine.
Wow.
So, who knows?
Muscle and Fitness.
They must be checking sphincter muscles. It's a muscle. Number 3, in at least 5 plays, including Othello, King Lear, and the Comedy of Errors, Shakespeare cracks fart jokes like a pimply teenager. And an example from King Lear is, blow, winds, and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow.
I guess I wouldn't have assumed that was about, but silly me.
Well, and this one's from A Comedy of Errors, says, a man may break a word with you, sir, and words are but wind. Aye, and break it in your face, so he break it not. From The Comedy of Errors. Number 4, due to higher hydrogen sulfide content, female farts smell worse than male farts on average.
No.
Yes.
Wrong.
There's a reason why men fart around women all the time and why women never do, because when a woman does, the room wilts.
No.
Yeah.
Sarah!
Preeminent fart researcher Dr. Michael Levitt noticed a higher concentrate of hydrogen sulfide in female toots, giving ladies the leg up on the smell factor. Don't be ashamed, girls.
Sarah, don't leave me alone with this conversation.
Men clearly take the
You've
cake
gotta be
when it
kidding
comes
me.
to butt-bombing bathrooms and living spaces in general. So, see, it's just that women farts typically smell worse.
No, they don't smell worse.
No, they don't.
No.
You really want to have this conversation? All right, then.
Sarah smells
So,
like roses.
she's out of this conversation.
No, she's not. She's all about you're really compare. Okay,
Do you want to be in this?
honestly, who's this is that's a ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You're mean.
There's a backstory
Well,
to this.
right, but I'm saying for every 100 farts a guy does, like they don't usually stink. They're just funny and hee ha ha. You know, but when a woman farts, you know, you're like, what the fuck just happened
No.
in here? Yes. Yes.
No, I don't think that's true. But go ahead. Go on to, because there's a picture of Yoda, so I'm interested.
Right? Number 5, 9.41 million gallons of human farts are released into our atmosphere daily. For comparison, nearly 10 million gallons of water flooded UCLA's campus this year. Where are you, Al Gore? Number 6, around 1.15 million farts happen every second on Earth. Now, simple math. It says when you factor in that the average person farts 14 times a day,
What?
during that,
14.
No.
they say we fart a lot in our sleep, so I don't know. You know? I mean, it may not be a full-blown,
makes sense.
but there might be air
That's so
escaping.
interesting.
I mean, it'd be nice to see where some of these facts come from, but
Well, from a health perspective, I mean, I didn't know that you did that often. If you were on a regular diet and you're digesting everything properly.
no idea. I'm sure there's a whole
Well, I wish you would have had more
flagellant
information.
science ordeal. Well, I'm sorry that during my spare time I haven't not looked as deeply into these fart facts as I probably
It's
should
okay,
have.
I understand.
So like we keep saying, please take these fart facts with a grain of salt or a plug to the nose. I don't know. But it does say that when you factor that the average person farts 14 times a day, times that by 7.125 billion people, and divide by 86,400 seconds in a day, you end up with a grand total of 1,158,564 farts every second. That's 100 billion daily. So that's fucked. Number 7, it says in China, professional fart smellers, quote unquote, make up to $50,000 detecting flagellant odors to diagnose disease. And this is according to a Rocket News article, so who knows? But you could make 50 G's a year, which 30 years ago when the Game of Life came out, $50,000 was the doctor and lawyer fees.
Right.
Now we have emerged to the fart smeller. So if you were playing the Asian game, the Asian version, you could be a professional fart smeller. That might be a shitty thing to do, but it seems to pay okay. Right? Number 8. What do we think farts the most in the whole world? What living creature farts the most in the whole world?
Boone.
Boone, are you a stinky farter?
What do you think, Sarah?
This one I've read elsewhere too before this.
Gabe, do you have an idea?
I was thinking like elephant or something.
Ooh, elephant. Good answer.
Elephant too. I just
Maybe whales do a lot. I mean,
It's very opposite of the size of a whale. The correct answer is the most prolific farters in the animal kingdom are termites. Due to a healthy diet of wood, termites eject ungodly volumes of butt gas. It is estimated that they are responsible for 11% of global methane emissions.
Nuh-uh.
That's more than every car on the planet. A close second are camels. A close third are zebras.
Zebras don't fart.
They toot. Just like unicorns don't fart or toot, they poof.
They poof.
They just poof.
That's what I do.
Number 9, there's a tribe in South America that uses flagellants as a means of saying hello. Number 10, the University of Exeter said smelling farts can reduce the risk of cancer, stroke, arthritis, and dementia. So I had to jump ahead because I wanted to get to this one. It says exposure to tiny amounts of hydrogen sulfide, i.e. the smell of rotten eggs, can prevent mitochondrial damage. The mitochondria, as we all learned from high school science, is the powerhouse of the cell. Essentially, a light poof can do wonders for your health. So,
Everyone, 1, 2, 3.
nope.
No. Thank you, Sarah.
Number 11, it would take 9 farts from every person on Earth to make a hydrogen bomb. Let's break it down. The average person,
Yes, let's.
or the average fart is combustible for 147 joules, according to this Yahoo Answers Genius. Maybe true, maybe not.
Maybe true, maybe not.
The energy and mass of a hydrogen bomb is 1e13 joules, according to Dr. J. Maran. In sum, it would take 68 billion farts to create the energy of a thermonuclear weapon. Every person on the planet would have to bottle 9 farts. Aren't you glad you're listening tonight? Or whenever it is that you're choosing to listen to this?
Yeah, I mean, the things you could have missed out on.
Right. I mean, just number 12, dead people fart. Once the body dies, it continues to contract and expand muscles, including the sphincter. If a person ate Taco Bell mere moments before death,
which is very possible,
which probably never has happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Gas could escape through the bowels up to 3 hours after death, up until rigor mortis sets in.
Wow.
So you could be just sitting there in the morgue, and this person's freshly dead, lets out a huge old rip. You're looking around trying to figure out who did it, and it was John Doe on the table because he had Taco Bell beforehand.
I
went to McDonald's before that, so he's really hurting.
Yeah.
Really hurting.
And that's why he died.
That's why he died.
Yeah, let's be honest. The day before he went to Burger King.
Don't mix your poisons, people.
Ever. Is that it? Is that all the facts?
That was all 12 of these very interesting facts about farts.
That was very interesting.
I found it on mandatory.com, in case anyone was wondering. That's from a couple days ago. So,
nice.
Hooray.
So let's take our last break, and when we come back, we can talk about a couple of other quick stories, not fart related.
Not fart related. A little more sad, a little more intense.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Welcome back.
Yep.
Yep.
Got this little bag of red chili pepper from Asian restaurant. This stuff's got to be pretty powerful.
What's it doing there?
We had food right
good.
before, so I wanted to save that because I like chili powder, and Asian chili powder is legit.
You only need a little bit.
Yeah. Like this much would... Well, we already talked about pooping and farts, so we'll should have talked about that last section.
All right, so you got a couple of not so great stories.
I got at least one
yeah.
to touch on. And it kind of follows the whole with everything. If you've been in the industry, you've been following at least somewhat, I'm sure, the whole, random people's stories about how cannabis cures cancer and these variant things. And especially if you live in Colorado or Oregon, unless you've been living under a rock, that people are moving to your state or to our state to gain access to these healing oils so they can save their kids, themselves, their families, whoever, whatever. And those that can't afford to move, are suffering a lot of the casualties now. So we don't think about it much when we see these stories popping up, all these people that need help and all this different stuff. We don't take into account that eventually we're going to see these same people come up in stories, but that they've died or moved on, or however you really want to say it. And so that's the other kind of downfall to the medical marijuana industry, all in all, is that when you have these debilitating conditions, it's not uncommon to start hearing stories of your friends or of fellow activists or whatever that are moving on because they weren't able to get their medicine because they're stuck in another state like Iowa, for example. We'll just jump right into this. In Scott County, Iowa, a man was convicted of marijuana charges after he used it for medical purposes, has died this morning. His name was Benton McKenzie, and his wife, Loretta, and their son, Cody, were all convicted of manufacturing marijuana after 71 marijuana plants were seized from their home in May of 2013. McKenzie said he used cannabis oil from the plants to treat his
horrible cancer that we can't pronounce.
Right, and he claimed some tumors diminished and even some vanished with the use of cannabis oil. McKenzie admitted in testimony in July of 2014 that the plants were his, but he was not allowed to say that he had cancer or that he used cannabis oil from the plants to treat it. Now, really quick, so in this country, and we're not going to play this whole long game of we're the freest country because we know that's a bunch of bullshit, but, the First Amendment to the Constitution that's been around for so long is the right to freedom of speech. So how come in a building designated to uphold the law with people in charge that swear on the Constitution to uphold the Constitution, that swear an oath to uphold the Constitution, how come it's shit on? Like, you can't go into a courtroom during your thing, your case, and say shit or fuck or bitch or bastard or ass or dick or anything or fart. I mean, you can't say these things. If you say them consecutively, they will take you to jail. So in a case where your life is under review and where your whole future is on trial here, you can't say the things that will save you from persecution, even though it's the truth and it's the reason why you're using it. How can you go to a building sworn to uphold the Constitution where they say you can't say this because it could help you?
Right.
We are going to defeat you.
Right.
McKenzie and his wife plan to appeal their conviction after they were each sentenced to 3 years of probation. Their son was given a suspended sentence. A GoFundMe account was established to try to help their family settle in Oregon, where cannabis oil was legal for treatment of his condition. And I don't want to take it too much further because it gets sad, and I'm still kind of in that whole ordeal where it hits a little harder than normal. But this is a prime example of this divided country where in another state somebody was denied their freedom to heal themselves, so much so that they died. They died. They are no longer here. They don't get to be alive anymore because of these stupid ass laws where I really believe that they're being controlled and dictated by big pharma lobbyist monies. Like, that's the only reason why.
Well, I mean, that's one of two major reasons. I mean, that is one, and the other is the holdover of reefer madness.
But I think a lot of that, I can't see how there could be a legitimate person in power that still believes that that is true.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Their constituents do. And so if they want to be reelected, they have to pander to the lowest common denominator, and those are people who don't read and don't know the facts.
This is true. This is very true. So it's just it's really sad, especially since the past 3-4 weeks. I've seen 5 or 6 stories of kids that have died and adults that have died. I mean, just people, humans, human beings, our fellow statesmen, our fellow countrymen, our fellow humans that spent a long time suffering that couldn't get to something that could have helped them and, God forbid, made them feel better along the way. And they're just gone because of our ignorant ways, our stubborn government, our ridiculous politics. It's just sad. It's sad that these happen. I mean, it's one thing that I lost somebody to drinking and driving. That was just a big fuck up. But this is like person A has the answer. Person B says, we don't care. Person A dies. Person B still doesn't care. Doesn't have to be responsible for it either. They don't, they just say, no, you can't treat yourself this way. Well, help me. No. Well, I'm dead. Well, too bad. This is sad. I
think the irony for me is that you can go to a lot of states now and receive that medicine. You can go to 2 states now and not even have to be a patient. And
4 really: Oregon, Washington, Alaska, Colorado. Washington D.C. not so much. It's legal, but boy, they're fighting it there.
So I just think it's rough and it's unfair, and it makes it unfair that people aren't treated the same in one state. Kansas, you can just drive an hour and a half away and people don't have access to the same
Same with Wyoming. You can just step across the border and you're a huge criminal. Step back on this side, hey, you're good.
Right.
You're good.
Well, and they're pretty pissed at us right now.
But no one's happy with us. And it's like, well, maybe it's not our laws that are screwed up. This is the land of the free, dickheads. Get with the program. Legalize it in your state, and guess what won't matter anymore?
That's right.
Us. You'll have all kinds of new tax monies. But it's taken time, but we'll get there. It'll happen. I don't think it's going to go the way that we all want it. It's not going to be free the plant, weed for everybody. I think eventually they're going to declassify it and they're going to move it, or not declassify. That would be nice. I think they're going to reschedule it to Schedule 2.
Which would not be good.
It'll take the power away from us. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. That's the easiest solution. They come out and say, oh, we got this under control. We're going to do this great. Reschedule it, Schedule 2. You guys get what you want. Everyone will be like, yeah. And
until they can't get it anymore.
Then it's Schedule 2, and then every single dispensary, every single grow operation has to shut down. But on the other hand, excuse me, how would that affect the recreational market? If it's legal for recreational consumption,
it would still be a Schedule 2 drug.
So, who knows? Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hopefully,
we've been scared of that for years. So it's all going a different direction than we all hoped anyway. I mean, it's getting.
What do you hope? What?
Well, I just hoped it'd be a lot more free. I don't mean like cost free, but just not so much over regulated, but just holy crap. I mean, everything. I mean, it costs a lot. The fees are a lot. The laws are strict. You still can't smoke anywhere. If you have too much, you can still get in trouble. It's just.
But what about as a consumer?
As a consumer, if I smoke now and we don't leave for another 2 hours and I get pulled over and there's a little bit of smell, and I refuse a blood test because fuck you. You're not taking my blood. Seriously. But if you refuse, they automatically suspend your license for a year. Just automatically, your license is just gone. So either you have to give your blood or you lose your license for a year. Are you fucking kidding me? And this is law in our state? Holy fuck. That's just, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But you can go buy weed at a store.
But you can go buy weed at a store and everything's okay. But and people are like, well, yay, we won all these little small victories, but these bigger chunks of change here, we'll just deal with those as they become bigger problems. How many people are going to get screwed before it's a bigger problem? So I don't know. It's a tough one. There's a lot of give and takes. We can go buy weed, but you can really get screwed because of it.
Well, and we should get some numbers about how many people have gotten DUIDs since January of last year.
That would be nice.
We'll bring that next week.
We'll try to.
We will.
Well, they may not have those numbers. They blend it all together so that their numbers look better. So they'll drug and alcohol. That's up on the rise. But they don't say there's one more than last year for weed, but there's 7,000 more alcohol. So, yeah, it's on the rise.
Right.
Lump it all together and we'll make it all look bad.
Right.
So it's just, can we find the individual facts that we need? Hopefully.
Right.
So it's been a fun week. It's been a fun day. It's been a fun show.
Fun show. So we will be back next week. I know I told you guys we were going to have Can Labs on, and they unfortunately had to cancel at the last minute. So we will try to have them reschedule and be able to talk more about testing. And thank you to our sponsors, Edson Maitland Mats, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Cuffle Collimore and Company, Run on Grass, and
Noto
Urban Garden Supply. And we will be back
and your dad.
Next Monday. Yes.
And your dad.
And my dad. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week.
Have a splendid week.
A splendid week.
Yes. Bye-bye.